Hello there, and good evening to you. How have you been? My name is Pauline Lehman. I'm the founder of Star Richards Community Initiative. It's a charity based in Manchester, and our mission is to raise aspirations and break the cycle of Black people on their achievement in education. Thanks for those who've joined. Please just drop a comment so I know you're here. Thanks for joining. I just thought it's really been hectic, and I thought I need to come and speak to, to encourage you parents about the importance of really getting involved in your child's studies this school year. So we are in the second week of the new school year for some, and it's the first week for others. So some students started yesterday. So it's still a good time, for parents to, be motivated about your role in your child's education. I tell you, you play a very, very important role in supporting your child's studies. Did you know that research shows that children are best placed to succeed in school when parents are actively involved in their studies? It means that you play a very, very important role in supporting your child. So will you commit yourself to supporting your child this academic year is what I want to talk about. I want to share with you some reasons why you need to commit yourself to supporting your child's education this year. So the first thing I want to share is that education is very, very important. We know the role of education. There's a quote by Nelson Mandela that says, education is the most powerful weapon that can be used to change the world. So education opens door of opportunities for your child. Education is one of the routes that leads to social mobility, so you could a child can start off from a deprived family, and with a good education can become, a middle or even upper class citizen. Why not? There's nothing that is impossible. I've heard people say that the richest people are not educated. Now, that is true, that the richest people on earth are not rich through education. However, what is the proportion of those people, those entrepreneurs that make up the richest people? It's a small fragment. And I believe that everybody is not cut out for entrepreneurship. So yes, we hear about it on social media all the time. Recently, we see people that are successful in sports, in show business, in music. We see people that are making huge successes in these areas, and very few people that are succeeding through careers are being showcased. Now, research shows that only 1% of people who start off in sports or in music actually make it to the top, make it to elite level, meaning that make it to the level where you can live a comfortable lifestyle. You could say you have really been successful at it. Therefore, education still remains one of the best options for a lot of people on earth. In all parts of the world, education is valued. Opportunities come up sometimes, but because one doesn't have the right educational foundation or basis, they are not able to take it. So education plays a very important role. And any parent who is strategic, can ensure that they invest themselves in supporting their child's education to help them, change and transform their future. So education is important. Why should you be actively involved? Because when you're involved in your child's education, your child becomes motivated. They know that education is important. How do you know what you're interested in or what someone is interested in? Is by the things that maybe they spend more time on, by the things that they show an interest in. So when you are involved in your child's studies, your child understands that education is important. For example, if a child comes back from school and the parents ask a simple question, how was school today? What made you happy? You ask questions about what they learned. You show excitement. The child picks up the message that education is important. And you will see the child coming to tell you about what happens in school, coming to tell you about how well they did in a test. So you being actively involved in your child's studies shows them that education is important. It helps to keep them motivated. And believe you me, you have your child's best interest at heart. The school doesn't have your child's best interest at heart. The teachers are doing the job they're paid for, but you have your child's best interest at heart. You know what your child's abilities are. You know, a lot of parents say to me that, they know their children can do better. So you know your child's ability level. You have your child's best interest at heart. So you should be your child's first teacher. Yes? And when you're your child's first teacher, you would therefore get involved and help them achieve their potential. So that is the other reason why you need to get involved. You help your child maximize the academic capacity. I tell you, all children have got ability. Children don't do well because they are necessarily the sharpest. Yes, children have got different, abilities. Children have got different levels of intelligence. Some are faster learners compared to others, but it doesn't mean that if a child is a slower learner, they can't do well. So by getting involved in your child's education, giving them that extra to fill in the gap left by the school, when you get involved, what you're doing is you are filling in the gap and helping your child maximize their potential. Why do you need to get involved? By working closely with your child, supporting their studies, you learn to understand how your child learns. A lot of parents get frustrated with their children because sometimes they are not learning as fast as they would have loved them to learn. Sometimes your child might take a bit more time to grasp something. But if you are a parent that followed your child's education closely, who sits down with your child to actually learn, go through the learning process with them, you will understand what type of learner they are. Are they a fast learner? Are they a slower learner? Do they need to go through the work 2, 3, 4 times before they get it? And when you understand the type of learner your child is, then you can support them. Then you can become more patient with your child. Why do you need to be actively involved in your child's education? Finally, because research shows that when parents are actively involved, when they show interest in their child's education, those children tend to have fewer behavioral challenges. So that is research. I believe that, and research also shows that when you are involved in your child's education, when you follow your child's studies closely, then we tend to see fewer behavioral challenges. You are in touch with the school. You are speaking to the teachers. You are showing interest. So the child knows that whatever happens in school, you are aware of it. And there are less challenges there. Sometimes the behavioral challenges could be because a child is struggling to learn. Okay? We should see that a lot of times, a lot of the children that get in trouble are those with learning difficulties. So if you are involved, you are supporting your child, then your child will not be kicking off in school or behaving poorly because they are struggling with the work. So it is really, really important. I want to encourage you all, intentional parents, that there is more. Your child has more ability than you believe or than you think. And so I don't want this school year to start to start, in the same way as it was last year. Wherever your child was at the end of last year, let's take it on to the next level. Your child has got more capacity. The human brain is amazing. So I want to encourage you that every investment of your time and resources that you make is the best investment you can make for your child, and believe that that investment is going to yield reward. You will be glad when you see your child achieving their potential. You'll be glad when your child grows up to become that person that you believe they could be. A lot of parents watch their children growing up and they turn out, either in a dysfunctional way or they underachieve. They achieve below their capacity. Why? Because they were not there at those initial stages of their children's education. So I want to encourage you, invest time, sow the right seeds, and I believe you're going to see those seeds grow and you'll be glad with the reward. So I'm going to come up again and talk about the different ways that you can actually support your child. I didn't want this, day to go without me coming on. It's been a really, really hectic day, and that is why I'm coming up really late. So you have a wonderful week ahead, and I pray for every grace, that you need to be able to invest yourself into your child's education. If you have any questions, anything you'd like me to talk about, please drop it down in the comments. I'll have a look at it. For those who are going to be watching the replay, because I've come up late, obviously, please leave your comments, and I'm going to, work on each of those areas that you highlight. So until next time, you have a brilliant school year ahead. Have a good night.